This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. The Hex of Hawthorne Hollow by Cassie. The Reluctant Return. The cobblestone streets of Hawthorne Hollow stretched before Marlowe Hawthorne, the late afternoon sunlight gilding the tops of ivy-covered cottages. It was picturesque in the way only small towns could be, quiet, neatly ordered, with the occasional swirl of leaves carried by a gentle breeze. But to Marlowe, it all felt suffocating, as though the cheerful flower boxes and friendly nods from passers-by were laying a trap, waiting to ensnare her. At the end of the lane stood the apothecary. Its weathered sign, Hawthorne Remedies, creaked softly as it swayed in the breeze. Marlowe paused, staring at the shop's familiar front. The door was painted a deep green, chipped at the edges but still vibrant against the stone facade. She had crossed that threshold countless times as a child, trailing after her Aunt Juniper, with wide-eyed wonder at shelves brimming with strange herbs and glowing potions. Now, though, it felt different, heavier. "You could just keep walking, you know," Felix said, his voice low and sardonic as he adjusted his perch on her shoulder. His claws pressed lightly against the worn fabric of her coat. "Plenty of better places to be than a dusty old shop." Marlowe tilted her head to give him a sidelong look. "And where exactly would we go, Felix? Back to the city? Because that worked out so well the first time." Felix fluffed his feathers, his tone sharp but not unkind. "Anywhere that isn't here. Small towns have a way of chewing you up and spitting you out, especially if you're dragging around baggage like yours." She sighed, her hand tightening on the strap of her satchel. "Aunt Juniper needs me. Besides, it's not like I'm planning to stay forever." "You always say that," Felix muttered, but he fell silent as Marlowe pushed open the apothecary's door. The faint jingle of the bell above the door stirred a wave of memories. Afternoons spent sorting jars of dried herbs by color and texture. The sound of her aunt's steady voice guiding her through the steps of a spell, and the faint hum of magic that always seemed to linger in the air. The shop smelled exactly as she remembered, a heady mix of lavender, eucalyptus, and something metallic and sharp, like a warning etched into the walls themselves. "Well, well," came a warm voice from the back of the shop. Juniper appeared from behind the counter, her dark hair streaked with silver and tied back in a loose braid. She wore a long apron over her faded dress, the pockets stuffed with sprigs of rosemary and stray bits of dried moss. Her sharp eyes softened the moment they landed on Marlowe. "Marlowe," Juniper said, her voice full of quiet joy. "You made it." Marlowe set her satchel down near the counter. "Of course I made it. You sent, what, 5 letters?" "6, Juniper corrected, pulling her into a firm hug. "But who's counting?" Felix let out a soft caw, flapping onto the counter. "I see you haven't redecorated. You know, some modern shelving wouldn't kill you." Juniper smirked, her hands on her hips as she surveyed the bird. "And I see you're just as mouthy as ever." "I've missed you too, Felix." Later that evening, Marlowe sat at the work table near the back of the shop, her fingers trailing over the worn wood. It was scattered with remnants of her aunt's recent work, tiny jars of dried chamomile, a half-finished charm wrapped in copper wire, and a mortar and pestle stained faintly green. "So," Juniper said, sliding a steaming cup of tea across the table toward her, "are you going to tell me what really brought you back?" Marlowe hesitated, her hands curling around the cup. "You said you needed help, that the hollow was shifting." Juniper nodded, her gaze steady. "It is, but I didn't expect you to drop everything and come running. The last time we talked about the hollow, you said it wasn't your responsibility anymore."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.